Are the two recently leaked designs of Chinese vertical takeoff fighters a sign that China has officially entered the STOVL fighter arena, or just another enthusiast's wild fantasy? With domestically built aircraft carriers and electromagnetic catapult technology maturing, why do we still need such fighters? What strategic plans and technological advancements within China's aviation industry lie behind these blueprints? The two latest VTOL fighter designs circulating online have indeed sparked widespread attention. The single-engine variant features thrust-vectoring engines, with intake ducts positioned above and below the fuselage. The twin-engine design places intake ducts on both sides beneath the fuselage and incorporates two small folding lift fans. Both models adopt a typical stealth configuration, eschewing horizontal stabilizers in favor of a pair of swept-back vertical fins, giving them a distinctly futuristic appearance. This design inevitably draws comparisons to the American F-35B VTOL fighter, yet incorporates distinct Chinese characteristics. The greatest advantage of VTOL fighters lies in their minimal requirements for takeoff and landing platforms, enabling operations within confined spaces. This makes them highly suitable for deployment on small island airfields or amphibious assault ships. Looking back a decade ago, China faced intense territorial disputes with neighboring nations in the South China Sea, frequently leading to friction and conflicts. Had VTOL fighters been available then, they could have been deployed on islands and reefs lacking full-scale runways, rapidly bolstering regional air superiority. However, with ongoing infrastructure development in the South China Sea, several small reefs have transformed into islands equipped with airport runways capable of handling large passenger aircraft and bombers, significantly reducing the need for VTOL capabilities. Debate remains intense over whether China should equip its Type 075 amphibious assault ships with VTOL fighters. Proponents argue that STOVL VTOL fighters have proven effective in U.S. and British Marine Corps operations, becoming the mainstream carrier-based aircraft solution. Integrating such fighters onto the Type 075 would significantly enhance its air superiority and strike capabilities, transforming it into a mini-aircraft carrier. However, opponents point out that VTOL aircraft are structurally complex, prone to malfunctions, costly to produce, and inferior in combat effectiveness compared to conventional fighters. The Soviet Yak-38 suffered frequent failures during its service life, severely limiting its operational capabilities. In fact, China's research into VTOL technology dates back decades. As early as the 1960s, China developed a short takeoff, vertical landing fighter, codenamed Project 4. During that era, China lived under the shadow of nuclear threats. Project 4 aimed to develop fighters capable of operating from damaged runways or even vertical shelters. As relations with Western nations improved in the 1980s, China acquired British Harrier jets for study. However, due to weak aviation industry foundations and the absence of carrier platforms, reverse engineering efforts ultimately failed. Military analysts note that China's future amphibious warfare requirements are strictly confined to its backyard. Even though South China Sea islands lie 700 to 800 kilometers or over 1,000 kilometers from the mainland, extensive shore-based aviation forces can fully secure air and sea superiority. Thus, VTOL fighters represent a luxury rather than a necessity for China, a nice-to-have rather than a must-have. Moreover, with the Type 076 amphibious assault ship already undergoing sea trials, and domestically developed electromagnetic catapult technology nearing maturity, future mainstay amphibious assault ships will undoubtedly be equipped with electromagnetic launch systems capable of launching conventional carrier-based aircraft. Designing VTOL fighters specifically for the Type 075 would be counterproductive. Reviewing the global development of VTOL fighters reveals their significant impact on military aviation. Represented by the British Harrier and American F-35B, these aircraft delivered direct fire support exceeding armed helicopters' capabilities from compact platforms. For instance, during the Falklands War, the Harrier's unique VTOL capability enabled it to successfully execute multiple combat missions despite the absence of large airfields, demonstrating its distinct tactical value. However, as military technology advanced, the inherent limitations of VTOL fighters became increasingly apparent. Their takeoff weight is significantly lower than that of conventional fixed-wing fighters, and they exhibit poorer fuel efficiency and safety performance. Taking the F-35A and F-35B as examples, the conventionally structured F-35A carries over 1 ton more weapons than the short takeoff variant F-35B and boasts an additional 500 kilometers of range. This substantial performance gap has led to a gradual decline in the competitiveness of VTOL fighters in modern warfare. For China, The decision to develop vertical takeoff and landing fighter jets requires comprehensive consideration of multiple factors, including military strategy, equipment systems, and technological capabilities. Currently, China possesses electromagnetic catapults and large aircraft carriers, which make the disadvantages of tall, for carrier-based aircraft far outweigh the advantages. Electromagnetic catapults provide substantial takeoff thrust for large fixed-wing fighters, enabling them to carry more weapons, ammunition, and fuel to execute longer-range and more complex combat missions. Additionally, China's new generation of amphibious assault ships are equipped with both electromagnetic catapults and arresting gear, theoretically enabling them to handle large fixed-wing unmanned aerial vehicles. Many of China's large stealth fixed-wing UAVs, such as the GZ-11 and FH-97A, possess the capability to serve as air combat platforms. The recently unveiled Jushin UAV boasts a maximum combat payload of 6 tons, approaching the level of the F-35B. These UAVs offer advantages such as low cost, reduced risk, and the ability to perform diverse missions, better meeting the demands of modern warfare. From a global military development perspective, the role of traditional vertical, short takeoff and landing fighters is gradually being replaced by more advanced, intelligent, and safer UAVs, long-range standoff weapons, and glide-guided bombs. Drones possess high maneuverability, stealth capabilities, and intelligence levels, enabling them to perform reconnaissance, strikes, and other missions in complex environments without concerns for pilot survival. Although China may not deploy VTOL fighters in the short term, research into related technologies remains essential from a scientific perspective. For a long time, China has never successfully developed a short takeoff, vertical landing fighter, not even producing a single prototype. Although it studied and referenced the British Harrier fighter, the technology dates back over 60 years, leaving China with virtually no experience in this field. While VTOL fighters present numerous challenges and a series of shortcomings, China may not currently require such aircraft, but who can guarantee such technology will never be needed? Rather than scrambling for solutions when the need arises, it would be wiser to conduct preliminary research on relevant aircraft types now, while the aviation industry is rapidly advancing. China could even follow the example of America's X series by building 1 or 2 technology demonstrators. Even if these cannot be deployed to the military or exported, they would still accumulate valuable R&D experience. In fact, China has not been entirely inactive in the field of tall technology. In 2013, the State Administration of Science, Technology and Industry for National Defense unveiled the design for a tiltrotor twin-duct fan single-seat tall aircraft. In May 2025, of tall single-seat aircraft developed by China North Industries Group Corporation's 208th Research Institute underwent extreme flight performance testing on the Qinghai Tibet Plateau, achieving the world's first manned flight at an altitude exceeding 5,000 meters for a single-seat tall aircraft. That same year, the Zihuo vertical utility takeoff and landing platform, designed by AVIC and other institutions, debuted at the 7th China Tianjin International Helicopter Expo, showcasing China's accumulated expertise in tall technology. Looking back at the 2 VTOL fighter designs circulating online recently, they are likely conceptual demonstrations for preliminary technical research rather than models poised for production. Such studies primarily serve as technological reserves, accumulating experience for China's future aviation industry development. Amid the successive emergence of aircraft carriers, electromagnetic catapults, and 6th-generation fighters, China's aviation industry now pursues clearer development priorities. Where VTOL fighters may not represent the optimal current choice, from the Project 4 initiative to the Harrier-style research, from J-18 rumors to the recent design blueprint revelations, China's VTOL fighter development journey remains fraught with anticipation and debate. Regardless of whether these designs ultimately materialize into operational aircraft, they reflect the Chinese aviation industry's relentless pursuit of cutting-edge technology. In the foreseeable future, as China's aviation capabilities continue to advance, the once elusive dream of tall fighters may find its niche in specific operational domains, becoming an integral part of China's diversified air power development.